with the West, what it has to offer, and the mountain peaks, the snow, the water, the wildlife, and being able to be immersed into that with your structure is very important, and we really drive that with the architecture. The site with Big Bear Lodge, it's very complex. It was very steep.
We're like, wow, this is a challenging build.
The overall design with Big Bear Lodge was based on rusticity. If you go to old mining towns, you really see some of the initial materials that they were using, how they rusted, matured, patinated with the weather patterns that go on. Some of the difficulties that we run into with where we are is the weather patterns and snow. Snow that builds up, our roofs are meant to withstand that weight. You know, that can be 4 to sometimes 8 feet of snow that may be laying on your roof.
You add the seismic with the snow load, being on a slope, the engineers want this thing tight and solid. So there's probably 120,000 pounds of steel, I-beams and columns in this home that you don't see.
Well, the reclaimed wood was one of the first things that the owners from Big Bear Lodge really wanted to have with this project.
The labor and the craftsmanship that goes into these timbers is phenomenal. And when you see the tools that they worked with, you really appreciate it. And you can imagine if you took an oak tree and started swinging at it with an axe, how rough it would look. And then they come back with the large, it's basically a chisel, it's about 3 feet long, and they slick it down. It's called a slick. And that's how they really get into that true square form. And then they go into the timber frame and all the mortise and tenons and the wood pegs. Pretty cool. So the stone is Deep Creek, and it is quarried locally in Montana.
The stone usually is a very important component with us because usually it's the base of the architecture. It's what rises up. That stone has such great colors. You get taupes, you get grays, you get sometimes slight blues, and you get browns. We knew we were going to have reclaimed woods, more wheat colors, and we wanted a more solid color of browns that's starting to raise up, and then the wheat colors of the historic woods that start to raise out of it. The entry needed to be centered on the great room and then looking out beyond to the views. And that was the main driver that we started to work with. But then the flow, as we start to come into the entry, we have the twin sisters of the chimney stacks and fireplaces on each side of us, and then the view corridors that go beyond towards the Spanish Peaks. The neat thing that came out of it was one of the twin sisters turns into a wine room on the backside. So it gives where there's open connection, but also dissection of spaces. So definitely the dining room starts to have its own space. Kitchen as well. Those were some of the things we started to look at as we started to lay out the flow for Big Bear Lodge.
We were able to have a little extra fun with the wine cellar. We did kind of that barrel vault on the ceiling and went with some really cool steel doors.
And that wine room turns into a focal point and end point for our dining room. One of the things also we started to work and evolve and develop our design is the tower. The tower has our vertical aspect of our stairs leading up to the upper level or the lower level spaces and how that interacted. The tower feature was a little daunting because we've got 3 stories of staircase in an open tower. It took 3 craftsmen 4.5 months to build that staircase. So it's definitely one of the more challenging staircases we've built.
The interior architecture and the interior finishes of the home are so rustic and somewhat heavy and masculine feeling. All of the furniture here is custom made to order, so we were able to hand pick all of the fabrics and textiles. So we've got natural wools and textiles that feel very appropriate for the spaces and also very soft, very comfortable, but also very durable. The lighting is extraordinary. My favorite fixture is probably the tiered pendant that's in the stair tower. That's a custom fixture that we had fabricated in Park City. Each pendant itself is like 4 feet tall, hand hammered, iron, artisan made. In the study, we decided to place 2 oversized leather club chairs, and it's really the perfect place that you can kind of curl up and cozy to the fireplace and read a book or relax. Opposite the fireplace, we have this amazing built-in desk that was built from reclaimed oak material. It's beautiful, it's very natural and rustic feeling, but it's also sustainably sourced product. Most of the homes here are ski in, ski out, meaning that the homes are located either directly adjacent to a chairlift or right on the mountain, so you can basically either ski or snowboard right from your home to the mountain. It's the perfect place after a very long day of skiing for friends and family to gather, rest and relax and recharge.
The downstairs bar, definitely après-ski, is pretty darn cool. On a typical après day, it's a great place where the bar opens up. It has a great connection to the outdoors, but can still be closed off to be an indoor bar as well.
To be able to have this opportunity to build such a fine home right on the ski slopes with exceptional quality and great clients and architecture and interiors, we've just had a great team.
But definitely it's a special project in regards to the materials we were able to use. The plasters, the reclaimed woods, and it's turned out to be a great family space for gathering, sometimes for 2, sometimes for 14.
I think we reached our goal of creating a legacy property for this family. Not only the fact that it's a beautiful design, but that it's functional. The home still feels very appropriate and indigenous to the surroundings and the location, and I think it's very timeless.